Good evening and welcome to Gay Newsbreak. I'm John Beebe.
I'm Dorinda Boswell.
And Dorinda, I tell you what, if you need any rain in Oklahoma, you just schedule the state fair.
Always.
The lawn has grown 4 feet, it seems like.
Now you have to mow again.
Everything's all green and everything. It's amazing how quick it's all gone. Have you been to the fair yet?
No, I haven't.
You're going to go?
I want to go this weekend, probably.
I think we are too. I've got my daughter and I think we're going to maybe make
fun.
a few events out there. Well, the 10th annual National Coming Out Day is set for October 11th. The Human Rights Campaign, the HRC, wishes to remind everyone that the power and importance of coming out has remained unchanged since the National Coming Out Day began in 1988. We owe many thanks and congratulations to those who have opened that closet door during the past decade. Lesbians, gay men, bisexuals, transgendered people, and non-gay allies alike. Dorinda?
Thank you, John. Church of the Open Arms is celebrating. In an almost unanimous decision, the Oklahoma Association of the Kansas-Oklahoma Conference of United Church of Christ voted to accept Church of the Open Arms into its fold. This decision came on August 29th during a conference meeting in Oklahoma City. During the conference, delegates listened as church members described Open Arms' mission and purpose and found them to be consistent with those of the United Church of Christ, characterizing theological integrity, congressional polity, a commitment to unified witness in the midst of diversity, a commitment to action for social justice and stewardship of nature. Reverend Kathy McCallie, pastor of Open Arms, expressed her own excitement over the decision, saying it allowed her church to move forward. She also said that people of faith are coming to see that discrimination against homosexuals is as wrong as discrimination against people of color or women. Exclusion and discrimination seem to us to be human frailties, not reflection of God's love. The Oklahoma Association of the Kansas-Oklahoma Conference includes 15 other Oklahoma churches with nearly 1,900 members. Open Arms brings with them 83 more. Since forming last year, the congregation has been sharing space with the Mayflower Congregation Church, which is also a United Church of Christ member. They are not in any hurry for us to leave, said McCallie, referring to Mayflower pastor Dr. Robin Myers and his congregation. They have been so supportive and will continue to support us in whatever decision we make, but it's time for us to have a home of our own, she quotes. McCallie is making no projections on a moving date, but said it was her hope and dream to move by Thanksgiving. To help with those moving costs, a community concert has been planned for Friday, September 25th. The concert will feature a full slate of top-notch local entertainers, including Peggy Johnson, Julia Robertson, Deb Roberts, Wanda D., Donna D., and myself. It will be held in the Fellowship Hall at Mayflower beginning at 8 p.m. VIP tickets, which include seating at a table close to the stage, are $25. Regular admission tickets are $10. And for tickets, you can call 405-524-6300. That's 524-6300. That ought to be a wonderful evening.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try to be there. I'm glad to hear that great news for Kathy, too. She's a wonderful lady.
She sure is.
The 16th annual Mr. Gay All-American contest was held in Little Rock, Arkansas last week. 33 contestants qualified from all across the country to compete for the national title. Contestants competed in the following categories: talent, interview, swimwear, and fashion modeling. Finals night was held at the Discovery in Little Rock Sunday, September 20th. The top 12 were announced, and all scores except interview were thrown out, and the top 12 contestants competed again in all categories. The top 6 were then selected, and they competed in on-stage question, which was then added to their overall scores. Mr. Gay All-American 1999, I'm proud to announce, is Richard Greer from Indianapolis, Indiana, and this was Richard's 3rd year to compete for the title. Mr. Greer had earlier qualified by winning the Mr. Gay Spirit All-American contest here in Oklahoma City at the Copa that many of you may have attended last July. And we're very proud to have another Oklahoma connection to hold this national title. It would be our 3rd one. I did bring the program, and this was our former Mr. All-American who gave it up that year, Antonio Edwards, Mr. Gay All-American 1999. And then just so happens that we have Richard Greer here on the back cover, who is our new, right up here, our new Mr. Gay All-American 1999. He's a wonderful guy. He's going to do a great job.
Oh, he's very good looking.
Yes, he is. So we're very glad to have him. Well, John, I understand that you have got some information about Steve Largett being up to his old tricks again.
I do, and I want to say congratulations to all of you affiliated with the Mr. Gay Spirit Contest. That's great news for us.
We're all excited.
Yeah. Well, one of Oklahoma's embarrassments in the U.S. Congress, and you know that's a category where we surely lead the nation, recently apparently felt he needed to be the moral authority for residents of Washington, D.C. Representative Steve Largent sponsored legislation which in effect prevents gay couples living in D.C. from adopting children. Largent's legislation passed 227 to 192 just 2 days after that body upheld the executive order issued by President Clinton, which granted gay and lesbian federal workers protection from discrimination in the workplace. Under Largent's plan, single parents could still adopt children, but not unmarried couples. This legislation would allow one member of a gay partnership to adopt, but the second parent would have no legal ties to the child. A spokesperson for the Human Rights Campaign said, on the one hand, those pushing this legislation say they want to provide greater security for children, but in reality they are creating less stability by limiting the number of guardians, ultimately leaving children vulnerable. The Senate has yet to vote on their version of the D.C. appropriations bill, but their version contains nothing like Largent's provisions. And the last word apparently has been spoken in a story we have reported on numerous times here. In Omaha, Nebraska, Pastor Jimmy Creech lost his appointment to his United Methodist Church after presiding over a union ceremony for 2 lesbians. Just recently, church leaders voted that church regulations do indeed forbid such ceremonies. The Methodist decision came less than a week after bishops in the Anglican Church stated homosexuality is not compatible with biblical scripture, although nearly 100 of the 750 bishops voted to continue the fight for full inclusion of gays and lesbians. Reverend Michael Hopkins, president-elect of Integrity, a gay and lesbian organization in the Episcopal Church, which is part of the Anglican denomination, said, "Folks had begun to get a little complacent about having more or less arrived. We've discovered there's a lot more work to be done." And Reverend Creech, the former United Methodist pastor, reportedly now cleans cottages in North Carolina for a living. John?
Very interesting, John. Thank you very much, Dorinda.
Well, thank you. We have Chuck Jones with us this evening on World News. I understand that you have a story about a clairvoyant transsexual who's running for public office?
Yes, a very interesting character has decided to run for politics, which in light of what's going on in America, I don't think it's all that strange, really.
I'd say go for it.
Well, we begin our world news tonight with news from Canada. It seems that Canada is currently suffering from its own separate but equal policy. This policy is somewhat similar to the separate but equal race policies of the 1960s here in America, but this policy differs in one big way. It deals with sexual orientation. In Canada, the government employees are treated differently in respect to benefit programs. As it stands right now, same-sex partner benefits are different from their same-sex counterparts. Well, federal Justice Andrew McKay has decided that that must be changed. Yes, that's right. He has called the dual system appalling and said that the same-sex relationships should not be treated any differently than straight ones. He's calling for a change in the Canadian government's definition of the word spouse in its employment regulations. Justice McKay believes that the word spouse should be changed to mean any persons involved in a long-term relationship. McKay's ruling also grants human rights officials the power to order the federal government to rework all laws, regulations, and directives that discriminate against same-sex couples in the area of job benefits. And she's a transsexual transvestite, but she's not from Transylvania. Yes, she's from Lima, Peru. And she is a clairvoyant turned TV star turned woman. And she's upset Peru's traditional macho image and has caused a stir on the political scene. The Peruvian transsexual has decided to run for local office in Lima. Fulvia Salica, who was born a man and who predicts Peruvians' futures on a local TV show, told reporters that she has registered to run for mayor in Lima's October elections. Salica says that she has always been interested in politics, but claims that transsexuals have always been marginalized and felt they could not run for office. Well, Fulvia is determined to be elected to something. She claims that if she loses the mayor's race, that she will simply run for Congress in 2000. You go, girl.
Did you say mayor or mayor?
Mayor.
I think that's great.
I think that's pretty cool.
Doesn't make our story here in the national level look so bad, does it?
No, not at all.
Well, we have Desmond Stone with the Health News. Desmond, glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, or PML, is a viral infection of the brain which can cause paralysis, loss of vision, and speech problems. Until recently, there was no effective treatment, and most patients with the condition died. However, researchers at the San Rafael Hospital in Milan and the University of North Carolina School of Medicine note that promising results were achieved when patients began receiving highly active antiretroviral therapy. Out of 10 patients studied, 6 improved substantially and 9 had undetected HIV viral loads after 112 days of treatment. Merck, the manufacturer of the drug Crixivan, announced that its study of twice-daily dosing of the drug has stopped due to poor long-term results. After 6 months on this regimen, only 61% of the patients achieved a viral load value considered acceptable. However, the FDA recently approved DuPont's drug Sustiva, a once-a-day medication. Although not a protease inhibitor, this drug appears to be as effective, and the regimen is easier to follow and has milder side effects. 1.7 million children were left without parents in areas of sub-Saharan Africa last year because of AIDS. According to the UN, 40% of children in rural parts of East Africa had lost a parent by the age of 15, and 23% of children under the age of 15 had lost one or both parents to the disease. Many of these children are taken in by extended families, but high poverty levels leave many of them abandoned. It's estimated that more than 90,000 children are now living on the streets of Lusaka, the capital of Zambia. Till It's Over is the theme of the United States Conference on AIDS this year. The conference, being held in Dallas, will run from October 29th to November the 1st. Organizers expect over 3,000 attendees from across the country. If you or your organization would like more information about the conference, you can call 202-483-6622. And we'll have that number once again on our community bulletin board at the end of the show. Don't go away. There's more Gay News Break coming up right after this message.
Well, as you're all aware, Alan has announced he's HIV positive. He's okay, but does anybody know what he's going through? What do our people think? We need to get on this. Shirley, do we have an employee policy? Are we required to set one up? Kurt, is he covered by our insurance plan? Okay, Ellen, as his manager, is he entitled to extra time off?
At least 1 in 10 businesses has had an employee with HIV.
John. Terry?
If you have a business, you need answers.
How can we help? Anybody? Anybody at all?
Call for this manager's kit and help keep your workplace healthy and productive.
It's awfully quiet in here.
Hi, y'all boys ready to order?
I think I'll have the burger special.
We don't serve your kind in here.
What did you say?
I said we don't serve your kind in here. Y'all are just gonna have to leave.
You people know you're not welcome here. We don't serve homosexuals.
Good evening, and with us this evening we have Jerry James here to talk about our Herland Fall Retreat. First of all, Jerry, I wanted to ask you, what is Herland?
Dorinda, Herland is a resource center for women. The women there primarily are lesbians, but it is for all women. It's been in Oklahoma City, operated for 12 years. It's absolutely private, nonprofit. It's a place where women can go to find out what's going on in the lesbian community, to find out lots of resources. There's just loads and loads of magazines from all over not only the country but international magazines as well, and books. It's a lending library. The other thing that Herland does is showcase a lot of female talent in the Oklahoma City area by putting on such things as coffee houses. So it's just, I think here in Oklahoma City, we're very fortunate to have someplace like Herland for the community.
That's wonderful. Good. Well, they have a fall retreat coming up, I know, and so would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, I'd love to tell you about the retreat, because at Herland, we love the retreats, and the women love the retreats. We have 2 a year, a spring and a fall. Of course, this is our fall coming up, and it's going to be October 9th, 10th, and 11th at Osage Hills, which is in the northeastern Oklahoma, not far from Tulsa. And it's going to be 3 days of women coming together to just basically to share, to have a really good time.
That's wonderful. I know there's so many new women in the community, and so for this information to be out there and an opportunity to meet others, I just think it's wonderful. When is this?
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. And yes, it's a great way for women to meet other women, not only in Oklahoma City, but there'll be women there throughout the state, and often we get women who come from other states as well, particularly Texas. What's so great about it is it's a very loving, supportive, and fun atmosphere. So if you come either with a friend, with your partner, or by yourself, there's other women there, and everybody wants to meet everybody, wants to talk to everybody, wants to have fun with everyone.
That's great. What are some of the things that will be going on?
Well, Osage Hills happens to be 52,000 acres of tall prairie grass with buffalo. So there's going to be some buffalo watching, as well as lots of hiking going on, canoeing, maybe, depending on the weather, even swimming, tennis, golf. There will be campfires, and there will be singing around the campfires. There's also going to be an open mic for people who want to sing, maybe who've never sang in front of people before. And the thing that we're most excited about is on Saturday night, we have special entertainment out of Austin. Emily Cates will be there performing, and Emily is known nationwide. She has a cult following, and we're just so anxious and thrilled about having her there.
Very talented woman, a very good songwriter and entertainer. How much is this, and what are the accommodations?
Cabin accommodations, lots of fun in the cabins, and what's great about the accommodations is that everyone can be accommodated. We'll have no smoking cabins, no drinking cabins, cabins where people go to bed early, so everyone gets to be accommodated. And also what Herland does is keep things on a sliding scale. So you may spend as little as $25 or maybe $65. But either amount is really good because it includes everything for the weekend.
That's great. Thank you, Jerry, for coming and telling us about this. What a wonderful opportunity.
Well, thank you, and thank you to Newsbreak. We appreciate it.
Yeah, great. All right, Chuck, with our entertainment.
Thank you, Dorinda. Thank you, Dorinda. Tonight in our entertainment segment, what I was wanting to discuss was how prevalent and how widespread the gay entertainment is out there. There are a lot of new movies that have been released on video that you as a gay person or perhaps a heterosexual person which wants to be educated on maybe what it's like to be gay if you don't know anyone or if you want to come to a better understanding. There's a lot of movies out there that approach gay life from a very positive aspect. One movie is In and Out. It was a very popular movie when it was at the theaters, and it has just recently been released. And I suggest that if you haven't seen that should be your first one to go rent, because it stars Kevin Kline. It's a very funny movie, and it just approaches the idea of his homosexuality from a very comic view, but yet takes it very seriously as well. There's also Boyfriends, which is a British movie that I saw just recently, and it is an independent film, so you kind of, you know, if you don't like independent films, you may not want to view this, but it deals very maturely with gay couples go on a retreat over the weekend, and they kind of have to deal with their relationships with one another, and it's just a very moving movie. There's also a lot of movies out there, there's a plethora of movies out there that deal with AIDS and HIV and how it is affecting the gay community and things like that. There's In the Gloaming, which stars Glenn Close. I saw that, I believe it was on HBO or some cable show, but it's now on video. That was a very, very moving movie. And so I suggest that you go see that. And also I want to just remind you that the new TV show, Will and Grace, has premiered this week. It premiered Monday at 8:30. I enjoyed that tremendously, and I suggest that you watch that. I'm encouraged to see what they do with the characters. And next to you, or back to you, John.
Chuck, Gene Siskel has nothing on you.
What a
fantastic job.
Very good.
Good job. Well, with me, we have Robert Caldwell to have this week's insight. And Robert, we enjoyed you last week. We're looking forward to it this week. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Positive thinking is a lot more than blind faith, and its power over people's lives is truly amazing. Optimistic people are less susceptible to depression and physical ills, and there is evidence that optimism bolsters the immune system. Optimism is a habitual way of explaining setbacks to yourself, and here's how it works. The pessimist believes that bad events stem from permanent situations, good events from temporary ones. The optimist, however, attributes failure to temporary causes and favorable situations to enduring causes. The pessimist allows a disappointment in one area of their life to pervade to the rest. The optimist doesn't let one setback contaminate their whole life. When things go wrong, pessimists blame themselves. The optimist ascribes such troubles as to a fluke, and they look for a new approach. The thought, "nothing I do matters," prevents the pessimist from trying to improve the situation. So, when confronted by a setback, they just give up. The latest research shows that optimism is a skill that anyone can master. And here are some suggestions to help you think more positively. Keep your self-appraisal accurate. Imagine the worst-case scenario, but then picture the best. Think of a failure as a result of a faulty strategy and not as a character flaw. Then, instead of feeling helpless, you can take action. Rehearse being a winner. In experiments, people who imagine themselves succeeding outperform those who expect to fail. Give yourself credit. Acknowledge past successes. Analyze the good things that happen to you as a result of your efforts. Set goals. Break down large goals into smaller ones to keep from being paralyzed by the enormousness of your task. With each interim goal you reach, you'll see progress. You'll feel energized and excited about what's to come. And that, my friend, is the mark and the power of an optimist.
Wonderful, Robert. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the new Oprah Winfrey show since she started her new season of self-help, and a lot of what she's doing on every show is what you're talking about here.
I haven't got a chance to look at it.
It's a fantastic show. I got my mom watching it the other day, and it's just fantastic.
That's wonderful. It's about time we get some positive things on TV.
Right.
Instead
positive
of
education.
slapping guests around the stage. Well, we'll be right back with some closing comments after this message, so please stay with us.
They fired her?
Yes.
But that isn't fair.
No, it isn't.
It isn't legal.
Yes, it is.
In 41 of our 50 states, a person can be fired just for being lesbian, gay, or bisexual with no legal recourse. Most Americans don't know that.
Betty?
Is there anything we can do?
Call the Human Rights Campaign toll-free at 1-888-4HRC-1997. Anti-gay job discrimination drives us apart. Americans want solutions that bring us together.
You always have to be in control. When you're going out to a club and you're drinking or whatever it is, you always have to be in control. In control. In control. In control.
Respect yourself. Protect yourself.
I didn't understand my girlfriends growing up. I'm in love, and it was a different guy every 3 weeks. I didn't understand that. I don't look back and regret ever not sleeping with someone. I know in the long run I'm going to be much better off.
Respect yourself. Protect yourself.
Welcome back. This is the 12th year for that Herland retreat, and it was back at the Osage Hills back in 1986 is when they had the first retreat. So it's quite a momentous time, and they're going to have photos from that retreat. So I think it'll be a wonderful time. You can get that number on the bulletin board at the end of this show.
Also, please look for the Mr. Gay All-American Enterprises phone number on the bulletin board as well. Those of you that are interested in competing in the Mr. Gay All-American contest system. Again, I want to congratulate Richard Greer, who is our new Mr. Gay All-American in 1999. His first appearance as Mr. Gay All-American will be at Miss Gay America in Little Rock coming up the week of October 20th, I believe. So all of you that can attend that, please go out to Little Rock and see him and watch him perform, and as well as the other contestants. There are usually about 60 contestants for the Miss America
How fun.
Gay America pageant, so it's going to be great. Who all's going to the fair?
I usually don't go to the fair. I'm not a big fair
My
person.
kids won't allow me not to.
I hear you there.
There you go.
Maybe we'll have to get our kids together and all go.
We'll
That'd be
have
a
to
lot
do
of fun.
that.
I think that'd be great. And again, we also welcome your comments on our talkback line, because without your input, we would be very stifled here. So we appreciate any input that you have to call in on our talkback line, and we appreciate your input, and we look forward to seeing you next week, and we appreciate you being with us tonight. Have a good week. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.